So a bunch of billionaires want to build a city again. I say again because it's the kind of thing billionaires have dreamt of since they snagged paperbacks of Atlas Shrugged from their high school's Lost and Founds. In 2008, $8.5 billion heir Peter Thiel invested in a floating island startup called the Seasteading Institute to build floating cities like these, before resigning from the company's board in 2011 and declaring the idea is not feasible. The same conclusion my high school friends and I reached after trying to construct a man-made island out of Home Depot products. Billionaire Timberwolves owner Marc wants to make a city called Telosa in the middle of nowhere, filled with futuristic amenities like drones and blended coffee drinks and hot air balloons. Telosa means metropolis, and middle of nowhere means an unidentified spot of desert in the American Southwest. And of course, there's the Line, a 170-kilometer-long linear smart city under construction in Neom, a special economic zone of Saudi Arabia. Overseen by Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, net worth $25 billion, and financed by the kingdom's $700 billion sovereign wealth fund, its mock-ups resemble something out of Westworld, meaning it looks incredibly futuristic, complicated, and destined to remain incomplete. Cities like these often feel like an attempt to start from scratch, bypassing whatever's going on in the rest of the world and instead selecting File New in SimCity. And many of the concepts underpinning these new cities are practical aspirations, like the idea of a 5 or 15-minute city. That's a place in which everything you need is within a 15-minute walk or bike ride from where you live, like your workplace, school, shopping center, doctor's office, and presumably, to meet everyone's needs, an adult bookstore. Other ideas may seem a bit too utopian or dystopian, depending on your prefix and mood. Telosa wants to promote a new economic model called equitism, in which citizens have a stake in the city's own land, benefiting the city and its residents alike. The Line, meanwhile, is being designed with artificial intelligence in mind and will require mass surveillance of smartphones, facial recognition, and more user data. It's said the Line will feature its own laws, but critics point out that Saudi Arabia's existing laws don't exactly suggest a Carrie Bradshaw lifestyle, given the kingdom's 7 out of 10 Freedom House freedom score. But there's another new city project taking place in Northern California that a bunch of billionaires have been working on in secret for at least the last 5 years. This is Solano County, California, miles and miles of farmland filled with cows, wind turbines, and cows between San Francisco and Sacramento. The whole county is a rural community of around 450,000 people, and since 2018, more than 78 square miles worth of land has been gobbled up at the cost of $800 million. And since that started, nobody has known who's been buying it, since the mayor here of Rio Vista, a city in Solano County.
It started probably about 2018, and began hearing about this outfit that was paying way above market for agricultural land, making purchases here and there. And nobody seemed to could find out who they were and what they were up to, why were they making these purchases.
Solano County also happens to be home to Travis Air Force Base, and local Congress people have been worried, along with the mayor pro tem of Suisun City, about who's been claiming the space around it.
A huge land grab surrounding our Air Force Base, and it was a bit scary because no one knew who it was. And so finding out who it was, although it's good to know who the man behind the curtain is, it doesn't change, the stance of our need to protect our Air Force Base and to preserve our ag land.
On Thursday, the curtain revealed the Jan behind it. Jan Sramick, a former Goldman Sachs trader and the CEO of California Forever. Founded in 2017, but with a website that just launched last week, California Forever revealed it's purchased more than 50,000 acres across Solano County with the hopes of creating a new community and economic opportunity in the area. But secretly snatching up a bunch of farmland and going, "Oh, this? Yeah, it's all ours," isn't exactly sitting well with the locals.
The better thing would be to approach our city leaders and work with us within our city boundaries, not to create a new city. I think that endeavor is a bit self-motivated with their own end goal, which is to create a new playground for who they want there versus what the needs of our residences are and our community members.
On the California Forever website, this newly proposed community promises to create good-paying jobs, build walkable neighborhoods, and deliver clean energy to all these beautifully illustrated cartoon residents. At first blush, the mayor of Rio Vista seems to think this could be a good thing.
We probably will get better medical access. We probably will get better stores. We'll get better restaurants, but we're going to get a lot more traffic. We're going to get a lot more congestion.
But others, like Sassoon City's mayor pro tem, that's a Latin phrase for the time being, by the way. Hello, I'm mayor for the time being. Worry the whole thing is being built under the guise of a city for the elite, as if Davos could use the competition. Indeed, it's hard to get more elite than Silicon Valley billionaires like venture capitalist Marc Andreessen, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, and Steve Jobs' widow and philanthropist Laurene Powell Jobs, all of whom are backing this project in Solano County. And if you're wondering why this giant land grab was kept secret, California Forever claims it was to avoid short-term land speculation, and they always planned to bring the community on board once they had everything they needed. Now, you don't need to browse San Francisco Zillow listings of empty lots next to dilapidated garages near the expressway that list for $370,000 to remind you that the US, and especially California's Bay Area, is in desperate need of housing. But in order to build a giant new community on all this farmland, California Forever has to get a ballot initiative passed to allow for urban use.
If it's done correctly, I think there's a lot of opportunities for the county. Their tax revenue base will increase quite a bit, so there's going to be a big windfall from that. Property values will probably go up around here as well, even further. So I think from those perspectives, it's good. But again, I think you're giving up a quality of lifestyle that's kind of unique to this area. You don't really have this a whole lot of other places.
While plans for Solano County are still coming into focus, it'll ultimately be up to the voters to decide whatever happens with California Forever. And if the billionaires' dreams of urban planning end up being taken out by forces out of their control, perhaps they can focus their energy on building a giant clock in a mountain. You know, like the one Jeff Bezos is building in Texas, that's supposed to tick just once a year for the next 10,000 years. And if you want to put something inside the clock, you can email the clock's website. And here are some pieces of the clock, and an email address for clock updates, and a little signature where Jeff Bezos thanks you for your interest in the clock. The top 1% of families own 1/3 of this nation's wealth.